This is Dr. B. Krishnachandra Kirti, Assistant Professor of English, Dr. BRR Government College, Jadcherla. In this lesson, let us review the poem A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow and critically appreciate the poem A Psalm of Life. Text, stanza 3. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act that each tomorrow finds us farther than today. Life's destination is neither enjoyment nor sorrow. Life is a fine admixture or blend of both. We cannot hope to have anyone exclusively. So, life is an admixture of enjoyment and sorrow. Its destination is neither enjoyment nor sorrow. So, anyone cannot complete life. Life's process is not complete with only one of these components. So, both these components complement and supplement and make life complete. We cannot hope to have anyone exclusively. Progress, movement, and dynamism are the hallmarks of life. So, life is dynamic, life is moving. It's like a current of water, current of wind, which should always move, which moves always, which progresses forward. Every tomorrow takes us ahead of today. Change is the keynote of life. Life always keeps on changing. Our every step and action marks and initiates our journey towards tomorrow from today. So, every step we make and we take, and our every action marks and initiates our journey towards tomorrow from today. Brandt's poem Life too conveys the same idea that life is a combination of joys and sorrows. Alternatively, of course, in different proportions and in varying degrees. So, here we can make a comparison of Longfellow's view of life in A Psalm of Life to Charlotte Brandt's poem Life and her vision of life. Of a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. Sometimes there are clouds of gloom, but these are transient all. So sometimes or quite often a little drizzle, a little shower of rain in the morning may indicate a pleasant day that is in store, that is yet to come. Sometimes there are clouds of gloom, darkness, dark moments, negative strains, whether it be positive moments or negative moments. Nothing is permanent in life. All these are temporary phases. Pleasant rainy morning and gloomy clouds passing alternately in life are all temporary. There is no permanence for any phase. So, life encompasses all. Art is long and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums, are beating funeral marches to the grave. Here the poet adopts a philosophical tone. Art is long, whether it is any art, it's long, it's permanent. And time is fleeting, time is dynamic, time is changing, time moves on, time stops for none. And time has no constancy. Art is permanent and time has no constancy. Time keeps on moving and is dynamic in nature. Though we are strong and brave in heart, we tend to continue funeral marches towards the grave with soft sounds of drums. So, in funeral march, though we are strong and brave in heart, we tend to continue towards the grave with soft, tragic sounds of drums. Pessimistic and negative strains are indicated here in this poem. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life, be not like dumb, driven cattle, be a hero in the strife. This is a motivating, stimulating poem. The poet advises us to lead life like a hero in the life struggle, not be like silent, dumb, driven cattle by the shepherd in the broad battlefield of the world and in the temporary living camps of soldiers. So we should always face life with courage, with valor, boldly and bravely. We should not be like silent, dumb, driven cattle. So, here certain do's and don'ts are mentioned. The poet, under do's, the poet asks us, advises us to lead a life of struggle and live like a hero in the struggle, in that struggle. And don'ts, under don'ts, he suggests us not to be like silent, dumb, driven cattle in the broad battlefield of the world. So the world is compared to a battlefield. The poet conveys a message and motivates us to be heroic in life rather than being a silent spectator, a voiceless, grazing cattle. So we should raise our voice whenever needed, wherever needed, and fight when there is necessary for fight, rather than to be silent, bowing our heads, leading a life of slavery or submission. So we should fight when it is needed, and we should struggle even if there be some hardships. We should be like a hero. We should lead a heroic life rather than being a silent spectator and a voiceless grazing cattle. Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present. Heart within and God overhead. So there is no guarantee for our future. Future is highly uncertain. So, however pleasant. So even though future is supposed to be pleasant, it reminds us of John Keats' poem, Ode on a Grecian Urn. Heard melodies are sweet and unheard melodies are sweeter still. So even though we expect the unseen, unheard, unwritten to be pleasant, we should not rest assured of the future. Let the dead past bury its dead. At the same time, we should not live in the past. Bygone days are bygone. We can never get back the past. So past is dead, no more than dead. It should be buried. Past should be buried. Act in the living present. So present is important. This moment is important. The moment in which you speak, the moment in which you live, the present, now, is the most important phase in your life. And you have two things. You have to bear in your mind two things. Heart within. You must have courage, bravery, hope, optimism within. And you should believe in God who is over your head. With courage, undaunted spirit, bravery, hope, optimism in your heart, and a belief, trust and faith on God who is over your head. You should act in the living present and forget about the past and the uncertain future. The poet conveys the message not to trust future although it be pleasant and to allow the already dead past bury its dead, and advises us to act and live in the living present between heart which is within and God above. The poet means that future is highly unpredictable, uncertain, and it's beyond control of anyone. No one can have any control over future. On the other hand, there is no use in thinking or repenting, regretting about the bygone past, which can never be regained. We cannot bring back the past, which is spent, which is gone. Even if we feel sorry, even if we regret or repent, uh, it should have been done this way or that way, I should have acted in a different way. There is no use. You cannot get back, you cannot regain the past time. In the poet's view, both are useless, future and past are useless, and present is most important. So the poet asks us to live and act in the present. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. So, if we study, observe, consider, look at the lives of great people, they all of them remind us one thing: we can make our lives great, and while departing, while leaving this world, we can leave behind footprints, our marks. Footprints are marks of us on the sands of time. Here, sands of time should be noted. Sands of time is not stable. Time is dynamic. Time is not fixed. Time is not constant. Just like sands, it slips. Emulating and following the footsteps of great men, we too can make our lives great. And while leaving this world, we leave behind us our marks are stamped on the sands of time. Time is a great leveler, and all are equal before it. It moves away and slips. Time and tide wait for none. Make hay while the sun shines. Strike the iron when it is red hot. All these things. So, a stitch in time saves nine. All these proverbial sayings stress and emphasize the importance of time. Footprints that perhaps another sailing over life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing shall take heart again. The footprints we leave should show the path or way and lead those who are the unfortunate lot, needy, displaced, distressed, panic, grief stricken, and suffering, so that by seeing and following them, they can get the courage. So, we are not born to die, and death is not life's destination. So, from in the journey from birth to death in our life, we are supposed to achieve, to do something and leave footprints, and such footprints we leave should show the path or way to lead those. The footprints we lead should guide, should direct those who are the unfortunate lot, who are unfortunate, who do not have luck as we do have, the needy, the displaced, the distressed, the disturbed, the panic, the suffering, the grief stricken, so that in such a way that by seeing and following them they can get the courage. By seeing our footprints, they can get courage or bravery to face life, to fight life. Let us then be up and doing with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait. The poet motivates us to rise up and be active with courage, ready to face any fate and continue to keep achieving, pursuing progress and learn to toil, work hard patiently and waiting with a hope for the better. If we need to be the motivators, the stimulators to the unfortunate lot, to the needy, the distressed, the disturbed, the displaced, panic, grief stricken, the suffering lot. We need to be active. We need to rise up and be active with courage, ready to face any fate, whatever be, whatever may come, and continue to keep achieving. We should keep on going, achieving, pursuing progress, and learn to toil, work hard, patiently, and with a hope, waiting with a hope for the better.